For our final report, we go to Leptoceratops at the very end of the Ediacaran period. What do you see there, Leptoceratops? Leptoceratops reporting from the very end of the Ediacaran period, just before the Paleozoic era and its Cambrian period begin. And some very interesting animals are floating around here. For example, this animal kind of looks like a mollusk. Now, it's not a mollusk, but it looks like a mollusk. It seems to have some molluscan features. Not enough to call it a mollusk, but it looks like a mollusk anyway. A mollusk? That's truly advanced, the group that includes snails, clams, and octopi and squid. What is that behind you now? Oh, and these animals here, they kind of look like arthropods. They're not arthropods. They don't have all of the features of arthropods, like the hard exoskeleton, etc., but they certainly don't look like worms. If anything, they seem to be partway in between arthropods and worms, transitional fossils perhaps. The first true arthropods are known in the Cambrian period in the Paleozoic, but just before that time period, it looks as if we have their ancestors. Arthropods sure will be successful in the Cambrian. What is that behind you now? I'm not quite sure what these are. These seem to be echinoderm-like. Echinoderms are the group which include the starfish and the sea cucumbers, and these odd animals seem to have asymmetry based on 3 or maybe 5, and while I don't feel confident in calling them echinoderms, they certainly look a bit like echinoderms. Echinoderms are actually the cousins of the chordates and eventually even the vertebrates, such as fish. These Ediacaran animals have come a long way. So there you have it. Here at the end of the Ediacaran period, just before the Paleozoic era begins, we have a bunch of new, more complex animals which are quite exciting. They seem to be the coelomate animals, the first members of the higher invertebrates, such as mollusks and arthropods, or at least their ancestors. And so at the end of the Ediacaran period, these animals are getting more complex. Well, that wraps up an episode of the Dinosaur Report. We have gone from 800 million years ago to the end of the Ediacaran period, and we have seen the first animals, but we have seen animals which could not move, animals which did not have a brain, animals which used their mouth as their anus. But here, as the Ediacaran period ends, we finally have the ancestors of the higher coelomate animals. Next episode, the Paleozoic era.